Shalom. This is Truth is Everlasting Lion's Den. I am Yahweh Sop. I camp out with Lion's Den, Hawan Ben Joshua in Jacksonville, Florida. First, I have to give a prayer to the Father, to the Son, to the elders, to the Akims, and to the women and children. Kal Halayim La, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Bahashim Ha Rokak Rodash Mahamas. In the name of Yahweh Shai, in spirit and holy and truth. Double honors to the 144,000 chosen elect. Double honors to the elders of GMS. Double honors to my elder Hawan. Salutation to the Akims who are the four corners of the earth. And to the women and children, Shalom. Okay, another video popped up on the phone, and the Spirit moved me to do a lesson. Whitney Webb exposed how the elites are creating a new class of slaves in Africa, but what a coincidence. They're doing that around the world, right? Even Puerto Rico, from where I'm from, right? Even though I was born and raised in New York, I did get to go and live in Puerto Rico when I was 10 years old, right? And I keep my eyes on what's going on over there as well. You know, we have a woman that well-educated, real smart Puerto Rican woman. I only say her first name, Bianca, right? She's an independent reporter who's been doing a lot of stories about Puerto Rico, and she goes around the world, you know. She studied to be a journalist. She got the skills, right? But with all the skills, right, that independent reporters of our people, they got to remember that they got to come back and repent and go back to Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai, right? They have great stories about the Catholic Church, what they were doing in the past, but these Catholic churches are not of our people. I mean, our people are in it, okay, but that's not their culture, even though they keep holding on to it. Anyway, Whitney Webb is going to talk about the tactics, right, that the elite use or do, you know, like in this one, it will be like in Africa, but they do this around the world. Nothing new, right? I'll play a little bit of it. The title of this lesson, Woe to them that go down to Egypt. That is so true. Here we go.
Currently perhaps unwilling to accept, but when they're cold and hungry and desperate,
you're exactly right.
I think that some people will be more willing.
Do slaves still exist? In a recent interview with Whitney Webb, she talked about how elites have created a class of modern slaves. And these are no other than Africans. As heart-wrenching as it sounds, the West is still having control over African nations in a way that doesn't look like a slave-master relationship. But if you look deep, you understand how this is the creation of a slave class.
You're not improving my mood much.
Well, you know, it's we have to understand what we're facing in order to solve it.
But how is this happening on a deeper level? Who is responsible? Let's find out. History of exploitation repeats itself, where strategies of domination and control evolve yet rarely disappear. In the modern era, a new form of enslavement is appearing, specifically targeting Black Africans. This insidious process leverages historical exploitation, economic dependency, technological surveillance, and socio-political manipulation. Despite the end of colonial rule, many African nations remain trapped in cycles of dependency and exploitation. Elites utilize various methods to perpetuate these cycles, ensuring that Black Africans remain subservient and deprived of true autonomy and prosperity.
In my idealistic years of thinking about America, I thought, well, we did some bad things, yes, and I'm not talking about slavery or anything else. I'm talking about things we did in war. But we had, we really didn't want to do those things. I'm not sure if any of that is true. Are the people involved in this stuff, do they recognize at all that this is evil, or is this just business?
Well, I think when you're talking about intelligence agencies, there's hierarchies. So there's like people maybe low in different levels that may think what they're doing is right and advancing American interests, but then there's people at the top that aren't necessarily like that, and it's about advancing their own interests.
You want to change your
Oh,
life today?
Slovakia, give me a minute. You know how it is with
Focus on where you
YouTube.
want to go instead of what you're afraid of. Really?
There you go.
But how did modern exploitation become possible in Africa? The seeds of modern exploitation were sown during the colonial era, when European powers ruthlessly exploited African resources and labor. The legacy of colonialism is deeply entrenched in the economic and social fabric of African nations. During the colonial period, European powers established systems of extraction and control that systematically stripped the continent of its wealth. Resources such as minerals, agricultural products, and human labor were exported to Europe, while African economies were deliberately kept underdeveloped. Many African nations remain economically tethered to their former colonizers, despite political independence. This neo-colonial dependency is perpetuated through unfair trade agreements, crippling debt, and economic policies imposed by international financial institutions like the IMF and the World Bank. These mechanisms ensure that African nations remain subservient, unable to break free from the chains of their colonial past. Unfair trade agreements often favor Western countries, allowing them to extract resources at low costs while selling manufactured goods at higher prices. This trade imbalance keeps African economies dependent on exporting raw materials rather than developing their industries. For example, African countries export vast amounts of raw cocoa, while Western companies process the cocoa into high-value chocolate products, retaining most of the profits. Crippling debt is another tool of economic control. Many African nations are burdened with high-interest loans and stringent conditions imposed by international lenders. These loans often prioritize debt repayment over essential services like healthcare and education, perpetuating poverty and instability. The structural adjustment programs SAPs imposed by the IMF in the 1980s and 1990s forced many African nations to cut public spending, leading to deteriorating public services and increased poverty. Economic policies imposed by international financial institutions often favor neoliberal principles, promoting privatization and deregulation. These policies can undermine local economies and increase inequality, ensuring that African nations remain dependent on external powers. For instance, the privatization of state-owned enterprises often leads to job losses and the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few, exacerbating social inequalities.
If you look at a lot of controversial intelligence operations and decisions, coups, for example, of the past, a lot of it was justified as going against communist influence, trying to keep that from growing. But then some of these same actors, like the Iran-Contra types, they ended up getting involved with the Chinese government just a few years later in the 1990s, and some of this blossomed into what a lot of conservatives today remember as Chinagate during the Clinton administration and things like that. So, they really have no allegiance to anything except their desire to grow their own money and power.
We need to address in detail how debt and financial control perpetuate African dependency. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity.
I gotta let it play.
Let's continue now.
They're trying to
Debt
promote
burdens many
paganism, but
African nations, trapping them in a cycle
what
of
it is.
dependency. High interest loans and stringent conditions imposed by international lenders strip countries of their economic sovereignty. This financial stranglehold forces African nations to prioritize debt repayment over essential services, perpetuating poverty and instability. Debt traps create a situation where countries must continually borrow to pay off existing debts, leading to a vicious cycle of borrowing and repayment. This cycle ensures that nations remain vulnerable to external manipulation and control, as they must comply with the demands of their creditors. For example, Zambia's debt crisis in recent years has led to severe austerity measures, causing public sector job cuts and reductions in social services. Resource exploitation is another significant factor. Africa's rich natural resources are a double-edged sword. While they hold the potential for prosperity, they are often the source of exploitation. Multinational corporations, frequently backed by Western powers, extract vast wealth from African soil with minimal benefit to local populations. This resource extraction enriches the elites while leaving the masses impoverished and dependent on the systems.
All right, let me stop it right there. You're catching the hint, right? That the people in power, the elect, right? The elites, Slakia, they go around the world raping, robbing, and plundering in the name of business, right? Prosperity, tourism, right? These are all beautiful words, but the meanings that they have behind them for themselves, their belief system, is to just rob, rape, murder, and plunder, right? And keep our people in slavery. Now, by the way, he uses the word black Africans. Our people are not black Africans. Yes, they live in Africa, which that's not the real name to begin with, but that's another topic for another time. Our people are different shades of color, right? Just like in Puerto Rico, they're doing the same thing for many years, right? The sad part is that our people keep going to Egypt, right, and begging them that they want to pay and promote new laws or different laws for the middle class and for the poor and for the native of the land. The thing is that that's not going to happen. It might happen for a little bit, but it's still going to go back to the same thing, because the land that belongs to the native, the world system is on the land. And that's not going to be removed by none of us, only by the Son of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, right? I want to go to Isaiah chapter 31, verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, right? Trust in their machinery, their technology, right? Chariots, their planes, their drones, right? Their weapons, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, right? Our people, the so-called Negros, Latinos, American speckled birds, they will go to the people in power, right? We in the Bible, Egypt, America is spiritually Egypt, right? To hope that they're going to, get help to what they're asking for, what they're pleading for so many years. Meanwhile, while they're pleading to Egypt for help, Egypt is still robbing, raping, murdering, and plundering. They're not going to stop. That's their belief system. That's what they were created for, right? Job chapter 9, verse 24, the earth was given to the hands of the wicked. You see? Want to go to Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, boy, if our people are rebellious. Say Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. Nope. That they may what? Add sin to sin. Not realizing that that's what they're doing. Right? They're going to the wrong spirit, right? Asking for help when the spirit that the Edomites have is of the wicked. Satan, right? So if you've been knocking on the same door for so many years, or, people have been doing it our people have been doing it for so many years, it ain't going to change nothing. I think sometimes that Whitney Webb might be a Jake, okay? And if she's not, and she's an Edomite, well, Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai uses Edomites to be whistleblowers as well. But she could be a Jake, okay? Back to scripture, verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadows of Pharaoh. Yeah. Putting your trust on the corporations that belong to Pharaoh, right? And have more power and money, okay, to make things go the way that the Edomites, right? The so-called America, which is really the spiritual Egypt, to do their wickedness, which is going to get worse for the whole world, even for Puerto Rico and the small Caribbean islands around, right? Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be on your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. And that's what's happening to our people. They are confused, right? That if they keep knocking on the door of the wicked that are in power, that somehow, some way, they're going to, say, okay, yeah, you can take back your land. Yeah, you can own it. All right, no problem. No. Okay, they were created for a purpose, to do the wickedness that they do, so that our people will get fed up and tired and come back to Yahweh and Yahushua. Now, does that mean you should stop doing what you get paid for? No, you got to pay your bills. But besides the work that you're doing, you got to come back to Yahweh and Yahushua and do His will, right? And you're not going to get paid. You get paid spiritually, but not going to get paid from this world. Shalakia. Psalm chapter 20. Give me a minute. Chapter 20, verse 7. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of Yahweh Bashin Yahweh Shai. Right? If that's not the first thing in your heart, right, in your mind, right, to understand, to hold on to strongly, okay, you're going to be lost and confused and in danger when Yahushua comes back. Verse 8, they are brought down and fallen, but we are rising and stand upright. Yeah. You know, the money that all of us are making now to pay rent, buy food, and, support ourselves, that's going bye-bye pretty soon. Okay? Even the jobs. Okay? And if you don't, so-called niggas, Latino niggas, and speckled birds, don't repent now and come back to who you really are, right? You're not going to have the strength, the courage, okay, the faith to stand what will come upon you by the hand of Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai. That's how come these things are being done, by the way. Verse 9, save Yahweh, let the king hear us when we call, right? And that's important. I want to jump to verse 5. We will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai, we will set up our banners, right? Yahweh Bashin Yahweh fulfills all thy petitions. We go out there with our banners with the 12 chart tribe to allow people to know, hey, this is who you are, And some of them are impressed, but, most of them look and say, well, nah, that cannot be. Nah, that's not good. How can that be? Right? I'm Puerto Rican. No, I'm Cuban. No, I'm African. No, I'm black. Slovakia, that I laugh. I can laugh now. It's not funny. But you got to have a sense of humor doing this, because it's sad that our people want to hold on to the lie and keep thinking that they are, don't come from a wealthy, powerful, big family, that owns not only the whole earth, but the whole universe. Okay? I want to go to James chapter 4. James chapter chapter 4, I said, yeah. Verse 3. Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust. Yeah, you're not humbling yourself with fear and trembling, right? Getting on your knees, right? And crying out to Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai. Okay? You want to keep praying to Jesus or whatever other gods you believe in, right? Because not only Jesus, there's many different names of false gods. Okay? But our people, especially the Puerto Ricans, man, do they hold on to that name. That blue-eyed, long blonde-haired guy, right? Caesar Borgia, who loves wearing high heels, right? They don't want to let go, and that's going to be, the punishment for them not letting go of that lie. On verse 4, yet adulterer and adulteress, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Yahweh? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. We got a lot of our people that went to the Edomite schools of this wicked world. They're intelligent. They got diploma degrees, college degrees, right? And they're making their money, okay? But they're not doing nothing for Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai. I mean, they're coming out with good journalist reports, okay? And that's great and wonderful. I mean, that plays a lot to help our people become aware. But if our people don't know who they are and where they come from and who's their real God, that, alone, just being a journalist, ain't going to do much, okay? Because this world is going to go bye-bye, our people keep forgetting that World War III is magnifying. It's getting bigger. It's getting closer, right? Second shutdown is coming as well. I want to jump to, did I read verse 5? Give me a minute. Where was I? Oh, verse 6, Salakia. I want to jump to verse 6. But he gives more grace, therefore, he says, Yahweh resists the proud, but gives grace unto the humble. Right? Because you're doing his work, and you're suffering in the process as well. But you're doing it what? With love. His love. Right? I want to go to 1 John. 1 John. Ooh, what happened here? Chapter 2, verse 15. Here we go. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him or in her. Right? No one that knows the truth, okay? And I can say this with 100% confidence of our people, the so-called Negros, Latino, Negro, and Specklebird. They know the truth. They've been called. We do not love this world, okay? We don't want this world to be saved, okay? We want Yahweh to bring the new kingdom, the new world system of righteousness, and remove this wickedness world, okay? There's no hope for this world. There's no solution, right, that will save this world. This world has to go bye-bye, and that's why Yahweh the Father is sending his son Yahweh Shai, right, to come for his people, which is going to be 144,000 chosen elect, which is all men, okay? And I hope and pray I'm one of them. And 1/3 of men, women, and children. 2/3 of our people are going to be left behind in this world to be burned, okay, in the lake of fire. and to come back to the new kingdom as babies. That's how he's going to clean them. That's the solution. That's the remedy that Yahweh Shem Yahushai has. Verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. Yeah. You know, a lot of our people who have degrees, they think that that makes them, high and mighty. You went and study under Esau's belief system, okay? So you're not going to get much of a big blessing, right? Or salvation, because you're just doing a job and getting paid for it, okay? And I'm talking to the so-called Negros, Latino, Negros, and speckled birds of our people. I read 16. I want to go to Roman chapter 12, verse 1. Let's start there. Keeping it short. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, Sakya, by the mercy of Yahweh, that ye represent your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, set apart, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. Right? So the same way Yahweh, through his son Yahushua, is talking to our people, so-called Negros, Latino, and speckled birds, right? To come back to their true purpose. That also applies to our women, so-called Negros, Latino, and speckled bird. You were created for a purpose. You can run, you can hide, but it will not change that you were created for a purpose. And your purpose was what? To be a wife. And as much as you don't like that word, or you don't like it this way, a wifey, a helpmate, right? You are created to be a woman, a servant, okay, to do the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushai through the man who's doing the work of Yahweh. Okay? Now, if you don't want to do it that way, you better start learning how to then do it on your own and still do the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. See? You can't run and you can't hide. Verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good, that acceptable, and perfect will of Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. You see? I met a Jake today, and she needed some service, and she came up to him, started talking, helping, and she wanted to build some type of outdoor tent, right, for a homeless person, a woman. So I started talking to her, and there are certain words that I use to see if the person's spirit is touch or call to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So when she responded, then I said, let me proceed. I started talking with her more, And I said, if you don't prepare yourself, what second shutdown is going to come, you're going to be out there, on your own. And she said, oh, no, I'm going to, I'm looking to plan to be moving. I said, oh, yeah, out of the state? Yeah. She wants to go somewhere else in the countryside, out of America. And I said, well, you still want to learn to pray in the name of Yahushua to see if that's what he wants. You can run, but you can't hide, So a lot of our people keep forgetting that the curse goes wherever we go, because it's with us, right? Deuteronomy 28, I believe it is. I'm going to go to Hebrew And going to Hebrew chapter 10, verse 18. Start with that. Now, where remission of these is, there is no more offering for sin. Yeah, because now that you came back to the Son, right, who gave his life for us, right? That's our King, right? That's our big brother, right? Yahweh Shai, okay? Dark skin, 10 feet tall, with an afro, from the tribe of Judah, okay? He's the head tribe of all tribes. Verse 19, having therefore, brethren, boldness to enter into the holiness by the blood of Yahweh Shai. How many of our people, especially the women, so-called Negros, Latino, nigger, and speckled bird, oh, will you die for me? Huh? Can love pay the rent? You know, years ago when I heard that, I didn't have the answer to that. The first time I heard it, I said, wow. Yes, love can pay the rent. Yeah, for sure. When you do the work of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, he paid for everything already, okay? So that we can go through what we're going to go through and call out his name so he can help us, right? With food, room, board, and shelter. And protection, right? There goes the answer to that question I just threw out there. 19, verse 19. Having therefore, brethren, I already read 9. Oh, I read 18, 19, 20. Slakia. By new and living way which he has consecrated. Slakia. I heard something out there. For us, through the veil that is to say, his flesh. Yeah. When Yahweh sent his son Yahweh Shai to come to planet Earth, right? Everything was already planned out. Isn't that amazing? Everything was already planned out. How Yahweh the Father, through his son Yahweh Shai, is going to get back his people, so-called Negros, Latino, and speckled bird, how to bring them back to a higher level, to the level where his son Yahweh Shai is at. Right? Give us that perfect spiritual Superman body. Live in righteousness for eternity. Never get old, never get sick, never die. Right? And remove this wicked world from the face of the earth and remove the people that are in power, the Edomites. Right? The so-called white people, El Bronco, right? Which they'll be going into slavery. That's how come they're doing what they're doing. They don't want to go into slavery, right? So that's how come they hate us. Verse 20, give me a minute, where was I? I read the flesh, 21. And having an high priest over the house of Yahweh. And that's our high priest is Yahweh Shai. Okay? He's going to be with us. We're going to be with him forever. Right? That is beautiful. Verse 22. Let us draw near with a true heart, a true mind, and full assurance of faith. Having our hearts, again, minds, sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. And what's the water? The truth, the word, the sincere milk, the pure milk, right? Not this paganistic religious. We're not into religion. This is our culture. This is our will that was given to us by Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. We were called, we were chosen from the beginning of time. Okay? Verse 23, let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful and promise. That promise, Slakia. Okay? So going to Egypt for all things is not a wise thing to do, right? And if you're going to go because that's what you're in the business of doing, you still got to do the work of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. If you're not doing it in righteousness, then you are doing it in wickedness. Right? So I'll leave it with this. Verse 24. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. You know, we got a lot of people that are independent reporters, right? And they need to realize that they don't repent and do also the work of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, right? On the side, besides what they're doing, they're not going to get salvation. Things aren't going to go good for them or with them. I hope that this was edifying. And with that, I say, Shalom.